Hello and welcome back to the garage. My name's Matt. This is Math Motorworks. This is my 2002 WRX wagon that has been wide body converted in the rear end here. In the past videos, we finished kind of blending in this quarter panel and threw down a couple coats of white paint just to make everything look nice for now. Now, we need to wire in a MapDCCD controller. And that is the name of the controller. This is a off-the-shelf unit that you can buy that controls the center differential in the STI 6-speed transmission, driver-controlled center differential. We have the advanced wheel speed processing unit along with that, so we need to wire in all 4 wheel speed sensors to that unit, and that necessitates tearing into, cutting up, and redoing all of the harnesses from basically the fuel pump forward and then from the cabin in to get those 4 wheel speed sensor lines in. So we're going to be working on that, and I'll show you the wiring. First, we're going to get this thing back up onto jack stands, and we're going to then just start diving right into the wiring, I guess. Alrighty, this is our MapDCCD controller. Came in this little box here, everything packaged up nicely. I got the kit. It was the controller plus the wheel speed processors. So, first thing, all bubble wrapped up nicely. This right here would be the advanced wheel speed signal processor. Beauty, right? Right next to it, we have this bundle of wires. This goes to the wheel speed processor. I'm assuming a bunch of these cables are going to go to the controller itself as data. And then these are obviously all 4 wheels. So we'll have to run these cables and merge them into the stock cables and plugs somewhere along the line. This looks like a power cable for the controller itself. Nice, nice. Right here is the controller. Very slick little unit. So I designed a little bracket where this guy will mount something like this. So we have the vehicle speed, it'll mount something like this together in a little housing. So I can access the vehicle speed sensor output adjustment buttons. This is how you adjust the different maps and settings for the center differential, and you can adjust the lock with this. I'm not going to do that. I'll just leave it on auto the whole time, but here is our little unit. And this would be programming cable. This would be the unit, the harness for the unit itself. So this will have to also get wired in somehow. Hopefully not too bad.
Many months later.
Did a little bit of wire routing off camera. I added a wire in for the parking brake. Just ran it through our loom all the way up to our switch panel bundle. We have a light right here that we're going to be adding into the switch panel. And we're going to be pulling power from that when the ground is connected, when the parking brake is on. This little spring thing is depressed and either makes or breaks connection, something like that. I'm assuming makes. Touches right here, most likely. And we'll light that bulb up and also tell the differential controller that the parking brake is on. And it will also tell the Haltech display up here that the parking brake is on, and we'll have a little indicator on the dash. We need to wire all kinds of stuff in over here. These two wires go through the firewall and needs to get cleaned up. These are for the center differential itself to control it. We have wiring right here that will end up, not this one. All this the non-white wiring is for the wheel speed sensors, which is underneath this box. That needs to go into this harness. And then this harness also needs to go into a whole bunch of other stuff. So we need to keep trucking with wiring. This is going to get messy quick, unfortunately. Was not planning on doing more wiring on this car, but that's the way it goes. Alrighty, we are inside the car and making some progress wiring. Everything behind the camera right now completely blown apart, and I have wiring in my lap. We have been working on, so far, labeling the center differential controller harness, so we know what everything is. Let me show you. Alrighty, so we have the whole dash out. I have my trusty wiring Bible that we've developed as we've wired this car here. And I have this whole harness for the differential controller all labeled. We need to figure out how that is going to tie into all of this, as well as the whole fuse panel back there for power. And I need to tie the turn signals into the dash, which is this guy here, pin that up. We also have e-brake to figure out and add to this panel. And I don't know what else. I think, we have this to wire in too. I forgot about this. This is a fuel level signal conditioner. We'll get to that. All right, I'm just gonna start cranking. All right, oh geez. Quick little update. It's so hard to make compelling wiring content. Guys, let me just show you what I've been working on a little bit. Hopefully it's somewhat entertaining to you. So we have, turn my headlamp back on here. We have the wheel speed processing unit here, which is just currently taped to the differential controller, completely wired in. Well, except for the front wheel speed sensor wiring harnesses. But we have the wires pulled into the cabin for that. We just have to connect it. But power and ground is connected, and then this brown and blue connected right to brown and blue for this harness for vehicle speed input, which is blue, I believe, and brown is the input for the wheel speed sensors for slip percentage, so that this thing can better control the center differential. So the next step, I think, is to clean this. Oh no, my headlamp is dying. No! Next step is to clean this wiring stuff up and kind of zip tie and loom it up and get it underneath the fuse panel here. And we're going to work our way up into including it in all of this stuff. But we're done in this immediate vicinity for now, which is exciting. That's progress. Hopefully you can hear me a little bit over the heater. I have it behind me, kind of blasting air into the car. I don't know why it's this cold in April. Anyway, we have made some developments. We have all of the wiring up to the fuse panel complete. So that leaves wiring the diff controller into power in the fuse panel, and wiring the rest of the diff controller inputs like the brakes and throttle position sensor, RPM. That needs to get wired into the existing harness for the ECU. We are also still needing to tap into the turn blinker stock thing and wire that into the display. Working on that still, but we've made some progress. Let me show you where we're at so far. So this cool housing, and I would take this apart and show you, but this diff controller is now permanently mated to this housing. Version 2 won't be as tight. But I had my buddy at work print this for me in ASA. I designed this up in SolidWorks to mount the wheel speed processor on the bottom so that we can see all of the inputs, the status lights, and still access the speed sensor calibration buttons, as well as the front of the diff controller. This will sit on the transmission tunnel somewhere around there, and it'll be nice and level with the car, which is good. We have all of this wiring included in our body harness here, zip tied up and set off to the side, ready to go up underneath and into the fuse box. On the switch panel here, we added a parking light button so that if we turn the power on, parking light button is on because the e-brake is up. And I'm not going to put the e-brake down because I don't want to roll. But what happens is the brake comes down and pushes this little, let me get you a better angle here. So when you release this e-brake, this tab swings down into this button and just breaks the connection. And when that connection is broken, the ground is broken to the car and the light turns off, like so. So ideally that will be on the dash as well. And the diff controller would like to see that if we pull that. And it's good to have that in good practice if we put a diff controller in another car and try to do some drifty boy stuff. Hydraulic e-brake, unlock the diff, something like that. I don't know. Anyway, it's getting kind of late. I might call it there for tonight. Next step will be incorporating all of this stuff here. All of this stuff here. This wiring, which is not that bad, into the wiring of the car, finish the dash, and we can put all this back together. Alrighty, welcome back. I apologize for the heater noise, but we're 5 days into April 2024, and there's snow on the ground and it's freezing, so that's gonna happen. I'll keep talking to try to drown that out. We are back in the car to do more wiring. The goal for today, I think, is to keep tailoring the wiring in on the harness along the trans tunnel to get it to the fuse panel where we'll wire in power where needed and connect into the ECU harness with all of the engine connectors for the relevant connections for the differential controller. And we're also going to try to start wiring in over here the turn signals, headlights, and the rest of the light wiring into the dash harness so that we can see that on the dash while we're driving. And you know what? While I'm sitting here, I don't know. Wow, it does seem like the steering column is a bit crooked now that I look at it. Glad we made the slots. We'll have to adjust that later once we get the dash and the seat in. ADHD things. Okay. I didn't record any of what I was doing yesterday. Maybe I will today. I'll throw you up in the tripod. We'll do a little bit of a time lapse. You can see what I'm doing, because wiring really just isn't all that exciting to try to record. It's very difficult to make it entertaining unless I really mess something up and then I start swearing at myself. But okay, so apparently the wiring that comes with the advanced wheel speed sensor for the MapDCCD controller, there's 2-conductor wire in this nice jacket for the wheel speed sensors, and I really thought that it was shielded. The OEM ABS whatchamahoozits. The OEM ABS wheel sensor. The OEM wheel sensor wiring is 2-conductor, but it's also shielded. So I don't know why this isn't. Wow, late nights build legends indeed. It is almost 3 in the morning. I have been sitting in the driver area of the car for the past couple hours, wiring away, and I think that we have completed all of the wiring. The DCCD controller is wired in. The blinkers and lights are wired to the dash. Everything is powered. Everything is re-loomed up and zip tied, and we are looking good. Let me show you. The only discernible difference that you're gonna be able to see is this nicely loomed up, this guy. This is the new one, and it goes into here. Splices in with all of the switch controllers. Let me try that again. The only discernible, oh my god. So the only discernible difference that you're going to be able to see is this newly loomed bundle here on the top side going to our display connector here. That comes from the differential controller. One of the wires is the data output from the controller so that we can log and view the diff lock in real time. The rest of it comes from this switch here so that we can view blinkers on the dash. This stuff, same as before, only new addition, parking light. Don't worry about how that looks. You have to clean up. And this is our diff controller here, which looks pretty good, and we should actually be able to power it on. There we go. It's on map 1, whatever that may mean. What does that mean? Manual. Probably won't let me in manual in auto mode because it's not getting all of the correct inputs because the car isn't running. That's okay. Pretty exciting stuff, though. Oh, I forgot to connect the ECU. Nikes. Okay, gotta do that. Well, that's where we're gonna end it for tonight because I am exhausted, but that's pretty exciting stuff, I'd say. We will wrap this up tomorrow.